You're going through a fierce battle with your Pokémons in Pokémon Unite, and you don't know how well you're doing. Whether your team is performing well against the enemy's Pokémon team, or if the opposite team has the upper hand in this battle. At multiple points in the battle, you're prompted with a few messages. It's a close battle. We're in the lead. We have a huge lead. We're struggling to keep up. We're really struggling. So what do these messages mean exactly in a battle?
Nani?
And how many points do they indicate your team has? In today's video, I'm going to help you guys understand more about Pokémon Unite and what these messages mean. I'm going to be tackling the scoring system of Pokémon Unite and making a logical and decisive conclusion on why and when these messages come up on your screen. With this information, you'll get a great overview of what kind of range your points are in and what you need to do to catch up or continue excelling in a match. Well, hey there everyone, and welcome to my channel, Geeky Gamer, your gaming home. Unless there is an update where players are allowed to see what points they have racked up in a battle, Pokémon Unite leaves its players in the dark on how many points they've scored. It's not necessarily bad, because I believe it actually creates a fun atmosphere, where players are battling on edge to see who can make the most out of the time they've been given in a battle. If anything, it's the suspense and mystery that are major factors pushing players to bring their best to the table during a fight. Even with that, some players would rather have an idea of how many points they've been able to score before a match concludes.
What?
And with these ambitions, one may find themselves trying to study the scoring system of Pokémon Unite so they know when and what their points are. You need not worry anymore, because I've done the math and logical checks, sparing you the hefty thought process. All you need to do is make sure to watch this video till the end.
Nice.
Bonus points if you drop a comment below and subscribe to my channel to show your support. Let's get to it. Each message that I've mentioned earlier is displayed at the top of your screen, whether you play on mobile or on Nintendo. These messages are displayed to give players a hint of how many points they have at that very moment and what their chances of winning are. Knowing that, I did multiple plays on the game, taking notes of different point values I gained and which of these messages appeared depending on what range of point values I had. I did multiple takes on this and came to some conclusions. First, we know that each of these messages has certain intervals or time marks, as I call it, to which they appear to alert players, being displayed 4 times to players throughout the battle. The first notification is shown at the 5 minutes left time mark. The second is then given at the 3-minute time mark. A third notification at the 2-minute time mark, and a last notification at the 1-minute time mark. The sequence here, like most other MOBA games, is done to actively keep the players alert on how much time is available before the battle is finalized. The minute interval between each is mostly just to serve as a reminder to a player of how much time they've got left. What really helps a player know if they're going to win a battle is the messages displayed. Let's take a precise look at each of them individually. I'm going to start with, it's a close battle. That's more a 50-50 win situation for your team. It's also the deciding moment on who is going to come out victorious in the future between the two teams. If you've received this notification, chances are the opposite team players also received the same. I believe this since we already know that these notifications are given out on a set time mark and are all but the same for every player. Let's imagine you received this notification. It's a close battle during the 2-minute time mark. it would undoubtedly mean that there is only a small difference separating your team's total points from that of the opposite team. My assumptions would lie between a 0-point difference to a 20-point difference. What this means here is that the scale is either balanced or slightly tipped, and you should make your moves decisively to rack up as many points as you can, then switch to defense. One thing I will advise you not to do is go after Zapdos. I repeat, don't go after Zapdos. Many players make this mistake of attacking Zapdos, which basically ruins their team's chances at getting the highest points.
This is fine.
In my last video, I talk about why Zapdos isn't all that important, especially when trying to rank up to Master, so you should definitely check that video out. Anyway, in a scenario where you're in a battle and have 2 minutes left on the timer, and at this exact time, the message, "It's a close battle," pops up, your immediate aim should be defeating as many of your opponent's Pokémon before the next warning. Don't pay attention to Zapdos just yet. Your first goal should be to defeat as many opponents as possible. If instead of that you get "we're in the lead," then you know that the battle is in your favor and time to switch up your team's positioning. If, at the next time mark, you get the notification with this display, it would mean that you are either in the lead or are on the verge of losing everything you've gotten so far. That's right. This is the reason why I suggested putting on a defensive line around your base to prevent the enemy team from scoring any more goals and surpassing your points. When you receive the message, "We're in the lead," you should have in mind that your points are either 99 or 21. Keep in mind that 20 points down to 0 and you are trapped in between the "it's a close battle" zone. Once you're past that zone, since there is no definite way to tell what your exact points are, and assuming the match is already coming to an end, this is where you deploy your defense system. The enemy team would have been notified with "we're really struggling." You can expect that they will get really desperate and come charging at you guys with all they've got. This may seem nerve-wracking, but that's just going to make you more aggressive with protecting your base. You should try to take advantage of this opportunity. Seeing that the opponent team has become more offensive, they would be fighting while leaving their backs exposed. This is just a suggestion. You need to judge for yourself before taking the hit, but you could use this opportunity to sneak attack them from behind and even advance into their base. Obviously, this would be a one-man job, as the majority of your teammates will need to be on defense. Your attack from behind aims to increase your points and get enough to jump into the "we have a huge lead" zone. This zone is rated as 100 points up and is very hard to recover from, especially if you guys have been lucky enough to slay Zapdos. There isn't much I can stress about once a team has gotten that much points. The best advice would be to go all out on defense because, like they say, a hungry hyena is a dangerous one. So, why don't we talk about what you can do when you've got the "we're struggling to keep up"? If your team finds themselves trapped in this position, the best advice I could give you is to attack. This notification will pop up if your team is behind by 100 points or more. That's right, it's almost the same as being in the "we're in the lead" zone, except you aren't in the lead. This is when an all-out war really happens, as one side is obviously in the lead and trying to defend their base, just enough till the match ends, and the other is much more desperate to secure more points for themselves. On the losing side, I would advise you guys to rethink your strategy. You should gang together and attack a base. Seeing that your opponents have more points than you, they are less likely to come after you and would most likely defend. Ganging up as a team and penetrating their fortress from an edge could give you the advantage of scoring more points long before the rest of the opposing team arrives. There are more tactics you could use, but that's for the last zone. So, I know I said earlier that once a team has racked up over 100 points, it's kind of a deciding factor on who wins and who is taking home the trophy. So, does that mean it's all over for the losing team? Should they just give up? Talking from an experienced point of view, there were times when the opposing team reached over 100 points, leaving us in the dust, but still, we managed to pull through and steal the game from them. It sounds fanatical, but it's true. Still, it wasn't any small feat. It took a lot of cunning tricks and plays to reclaim the mantle. In scenarios like this, it would be best to keep your hopes up and go after Zapdos, as there's obviously a far gap between your teams, and you need a divine intervention to close the gap. Whatever the case may be, you need to avoid the fight as much as possible. And whatever points you have, no matter how small they are, you need to get them scored at their goal zone. No need to pick up too many before heading to have them scored. You also need to make sure the opposite team isn't increasing their points as well, or all your efforts to rack up points are irrelevant. Make sure you do whatever it takes to defeat them before they score more points at your goal zone. Well, that's it. What did you guys think about this video? Drop a like if you enjoyed the video, and share the video with people you know love Pokemon Unite. Don't forget to subscribe to stay updated on topics you love, and check out my channel for more videos. See you in the next one.